right. So I don't know how many times I've done this, but maybe I'll get through it this time. Welcome to Looking for Moms, a Mothership actual play. The stars are dead gods. A bit of content warning before you continue. Mothership is a sci-fi horror game for mature audiences. It contains violence, foul language, some sexual content, potential drug use, and depictions of mental stress, trauma, and panic that may not be suited for all audiences. You should consider that content before continuing. And I invite you to check out the other great content from the GMs of Looking for Mom on our Discord server. GM Andrew has a great Humberwood campaign and is starting a Replicant Rebellion Blade Runner campaign. GM Beginner has a slew of videos of his Pirate Board campaign. GM Sid runs a fantastic Brindlewood Bay campaign and is starting a Riley Watch short. GM Maia runs a superb Pinehurst Academy using the City of Mist rules and a new Electric States podcast. Hopefully I'll see you there. But let's get started with Mothership. The stars are dead gods. So I'll do a short recap and then we'll get started.
All right.
Last session, you had a forced ejection from hyperspace after hyperspace raiders in the Brotherhood of the Void offered you membership to their brotherhood, and you softly declined. Really, you went and hid in fan rooms until Mr. Tim, the ship's AI of the Gambit, could get you out of hyperspace emergently. You exited hyperspace and found a new crew member who was forcibly ejected from cryo chambers, who has really no memory of how long he's been in there. And Oni realizes it's probably been a fairly long time. He can't remember the last captain, and he's still trying to come to terms with what his past was. He has some memories of his more distant past and why he was in space in the first issue, but he has no idea how he got on the Gambit and how those years of his life went after he entered the darkest space. You found the Gambit was being drained. The engines were shut down. Power was being drained. There was no gravity, and some sort of pulse transited the ship and shut down the AI Max. You found that the Gambit was essentially adrift, but it was butted up against another ship, an archaeological scientist ship called the Alexis. And Mr. Tim eventually came back online, and you learned that something on the Alexis was draining power and preventing you from leaving. And habitation and systems were being periodically drained, and you had to fix it before you were lost in space. So you geared up to investigate the science vessel and took the spider drone across and connected to the conduit. You found dead bodies of crew members and had started an investigation until all of a sudden this second pulse came through. Took out the AI Max, which you're not aware of at the moment because he went in a slightly different direction to explore the cryo chambers here, while the rest of the company went to explore the science bay, and what they found was the crew chief's bay. Oni investigated the crew chief's bay, and so did Dr. Rizal, and they found humans whose abdomen had been scooped out while the left of it was left intact. Dr. Rizal realized that, and I think Oni did too, that more than one creature had been feeding off it, perhaps, but the main section of their abdomen was taken out. About that time, a second wave drops the Max, the android Max, and those bodies shudder and their eyes roll in back of their heads, and you hear this terrible screech echo throughout the ship, and that's where we ended it. Just to reorientate you on the ship, there's a hatch or like a fan room opening here where Dr. Rizal and Eric Collins are. That's bowed in a little bit. The metal is bent a little bit into it, but that's like a big fan room opening vent like a square vent that's probably 0.75 meters or 2 feet by 2 feet. And then there's a smaller one in the crew chiefs. There's a vent, like conduit vent for airflow. And then right where Harm is, there's a vent here. You have this schematic of the ship, somewhat older schematic that Mr. Tim provided. And those dark lines are air conduits that attach in some fashion throughout the ship. But there's one here. These right here are airlock doors. And there's a computer terminal right here that was investigated. Eric Collins and Harm and pretty much the whole team and company know that this airlock door is welded shut, or it has been welded shut against the bulkhead for some reason. And that's where we left it off. Do you all have any questions?
Not that I can think of.
Okay.
Just that I had found, I investigated and found the crew chief's proximity card.
Yeah, proximity card or key card badge.
Yep.
Into certain spaces have the key cards. Most airlock doors, you guys would know, are somehow in the control room, but there are probably some airlock doors that can be entered using a keypad or a key
Or maybe
swipe.
some kind of storage thing. It could be like,
Sure.
Maintenance closets or something. Who knows?
Anything else? So the first thing we're going to do, as this screech echoes through and these bodies are essentially quivering on the ground and their eyes are moving around, is we're going to do panic checks because Dr. Rizal and Oni are kind of bent over the bodies and they suddenly come to life. The lights flicker and go off for a minute, and then the emergency lights kind of flicker, and you hear this screech that you can't really tell where it's coming from, but it just reverberates through your chest and bones. It's almost like the ship itself is acting as an amplifier, and these bodies are like wiggling on the ground like worms or fish out of water. So we'll do it one by one. We'll go to Oni first. Oni, you're over this body. You were investigating the crew chief. You reach down and pick up his key card. He's got his fists closed and they kind of open and close, and he drops something out of his fist while they're opening and closing and his eyes are moving around. Make a panic check first.
So that's fear?
Yeah, I think you can actually you could just roll a 1d20 and I will tell you, because I know there's a panic roll, but I will tell you. And
okay, so it says fear save. That's not the same as panic roll?
No, fear save is just, let me see if your sheet has panic.
I have the macro here saved. Maybe I could drop it into the thing, the chat.
Yeah, you could do that. You can actually drop it right in the, there you go.
Nice.
So I just click that? Click your, make sure you're on your character sheet, because I make sure that would, and then click that and see how.
I do not have permission to execute macro.
Let me look at it.
Meanwhile, I will just roll the die 20.
Yeah, roll a 20, and then I'll make a macro on 4. You are overwhelmed, Oni. I'll have you explain why that is. And so I would go to your character sheet, and I would put a note maybe in the notes and just put overwhelmed. You get disadvantage in all rolls for the next 1d10 minutes. You increase your stress by 1. So your stress goes to 5 because you actually rolled you didn't have that much stress, but you actually rolled a 4, which is bad for you. So
it's my first time.
Right. You are at disadvantage for 7 minutes. Now, Oni, what happens? How is Oni overwhelmed in this moment?
He screeches like a little girl. You mentioned something falling out of his hand, but I imagine that I'm not able to comprehend or even think about picking whatever fell out of his hand up.
Okay.
Or
Yeah, at the
can I?
moment.
Or can I? Not at the moment. Okay.
Oh, well, you can. It's up to you. I let you decide what that overwhelming is.
Well, yeah. I mean, screeching and freaking out, but he did notice. I mean, I did notice that something fell out of his hand. I mean, can I at least? I'm just going to look to see what it might have been.
You see a little vial with a cork on it and like 3 purple pills in it. Look like little tablets, purple tablet pills. Oni is fairly well given he knows what they are right away because of his skill set, really. And he knows those are cyanide pills. Or there's 3 of them. And so they kind of roll out of his hand, and it's a small little vial with like a cork on the top, a rubber cork, and you see these 3 little purple round tablets inside. Oni realizes that the crew chief, one of those tablets is good enough for 1 person, but he has 3 of them in there. What does Oni do? Anything specific besides being overwhelmed and picking up that, realizing there's cyanide in there?
Who else is in the room with me?
Harm is there. Well, Harm went around the corner a little bit as soon as the bodies moved. So you're kind of alone. You know that Dr. Rizal and Eric Collins is in the scientist room through the hatch right here. But you're pretty much on your own.
Yes. If that hatch is open, I'm going to go run into the room and join them. And
Okay.
the bodies are moving.
All right, Dr. Rizal, your panic check is next. You're over the body, inspecting it because it's very interesting to you as an exobiologist. You would try to get a sense of what kind of creature would have done that to them. So
Nice.
Success.
Yeah. Dr. Rizal, is there a particular reason that these moving bodies and rolling eyes, even though they're obviously dead and they're not, decomposing like you would expect, you learn that they've probably been dead for a week or so, which doesn't make sense at all. Is there a reason Dr. Rizal keeps his composure?
I think he would be fascinated with what he was seeing, like scared.
Uh-huh.
And in fact, he would almost kind of like, since he only has an audience member of 1 or maybe 2 at the moment, he'd be like, "Hey, look at this. What do you think is causing this? You think there's still aliens inside? What kind of connection do we see between this and the aliens that are outside?" He's kind of like just going through the motions of, trying to make sense of it. And in fact, if I can get more information from that would be.
I would think so. I would think that you, with that role, you're so composed, that you know that there's some degree of, in the smaller marks, there's some areas where the flesh has been subjected to acid spray, acid something. It's not consistent with the larger marks that seem to have scooped out the abdomen itself, but these smaller marks where some other thing had fed on it has some component of acid to it, because it's eaten through in pockets, and you can kind of tell the sign that this smaller creature that also fed on the body has some degree of acidic nature to it.
So I kind of just, as I'm figuring that part out, I kind of just, speak loudly, "Acid. There's clearly acid here." And I kind of look up and I look at Eric Collins. And as Oni is coming in screaming, I kind of like, "Keep your distance. They have acid." And I pull out my gun.
Eric Collins, you're in this room. You're already freaked out. Oni comes running in, crazed look on his face, overwhelmed a bit, and with obvious emotion. Dr. Rizal is this calm, cool, clinical scientist that, it doesn't seem to faze him. These bodies are jumping around. He still has his hands on them, like he's still blabbering off. Roll your panic check or see what you get.
All right, let's see. Let me roll a d20.
3.
No, wait, does that? No, I want to roll.
You want to roll over.
Over.
Yeah, so you rolled under. So you get jumpy. You get 1 extra stress, and all crew members take 2 stress. Because how does that manifest? How do you
I
get jumpy?
pull out my gun. Yeah. And do they immediately take 2 stress?
Yep.
I fire my gun.
I see.
So, as soon as that's a spirit, Mr. Collins. But wait for the aliens to come.
Yeah, I'm not going to get caught off guard like last time. And now that I see what appears to be something inhuman happening, and these life forms coming to life, I'm gonna fire on whatever like the closest jumble of bodies is. Gonna blast at them.
Yeah, see, you just pull your gun and 1 round goes off. It fills that space with sound. Everyone jumps, and that's fantastic. That's why everyone takes 2 stress. Like you just pull the trigger automatically, reflexively. Let me roll harm stress, see what he gets. I'm gonna look at his character.
So you fire off the gun, and Oni screams again. Ah! Ah!
8. Harm, is at the airlock door, and he loses his confidence in his abilities as a Marine. He loses his idea of his athletics and his quickness and his ability to adapt physically to any altercation or any danger or any situation. And you could just see this kind of in his eyes, this kind of self-doubt, loss of confidence. And he rolled a loss of confidence, which is a condition where he chooses 1 skill and he loses that skill bonus. So he has a condition, which I put on his sheet, and loss of confidence. So he can no longer use athletics. Now, conditions can only be healed with long-term rest, longer than a week, or with treatment at a particular medical facility or someone who's trained to do that sort of thing. So you kind of hold them unless there's a time frame like Oni's time frame of 7 minutes, or if it's something like jumpy that Eric Collins get is very specific. His loss of confidence or condition lasts for a while. The way I would probably do it is it probably lasts until he has some good success that rebuilds his confidence. That's the other way. Like Harm or you guys, if you have a certain condition, but then you succeed at something, it may negate that condition as opposed to waiting for treatment, going, that sort of thing. So you're there. Eric Collins fires off his gun. Harm jumps and probably trips, hits in the airlock door and hits his head a little bit and looks up with these kind of dazed eyes and goes, "What the fuck's going on?" What do you guys do?
Eric Collins is going to kind of be frozen there, holding his gun in like a traditional shooting stance, and just waiting for them to move again. And he's gonna start yelling at Dr. Rizal, "What's going on? How is that even possible? What the fuck is happening?"
Can I make sense of it?
No.
Okay.
You I would let you probably could not. You could roll an intellect check flat out. But the one who would probably understand it more is Eric Collins, and he's already jumping and freaking out.
Okay. I don't want to risk the additional stress right now. So I'm gonna Mr. Collins, there's most likely a scientific reason for this. But clearly more data is needed. I think at the moment, we should probably leave this area because I believe I hear something coming from the vents.
Go ahead.
I swing over towards the vents. Aiming at the vents.
Okay. Yeah, it's this big vent right here. You feel a little airflow, like the air conduit system and the turbines are working. Habitation is working. Harm yells out and goes, "Damn it! The last time this happened, Max went down to his face. He's supposed to be checking on the cryopods."
We should probably go check on him. Clearly, Mr. Collins has sentry here, so so I kind of push Harm. All right, let's go check on Max.
Okay. So Harm goes down to the end of the corridor. I guess Dr. Rizal is following him. What does Oni do?
He'll take up tail end.
Tail end.
Okay, so again, I'm trying to move, and everybody moves at the same time.
Let me drag you back out. I saw that in my other game too, and I also saw that on Owlbear Rodeo, which is another VTT that it gets weirdly. I'll drag you back out, Oni, and see if it. How about now? There you go. Okay.
So I don't know if anybody notices, but Oni has this sort of the satchel that goes diagonally across his chest. It's this big sort of rubberized thing, and he ends up sort of rooting around in that, and he pulls out some kind of strange looking contraption gun kind of thing with a big sort of pot belly on it. And I don't know, maybe you know what it is or not.
Yeah, I would think most people know what a foam gun is.
Oh, he's got a foam gun.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Eric Collins could probably fix it. Harm is right here by this computer, and you see him just duck into that corner because he's still got that loss of confidence. His balance is off. He's trying to shake it off, and he looks at you, Dr. Rizal, and says, "I don't know. Maybe you should take lead, Doctor. You might make more sense of whatever you see."
He would say, no. We're here to do what our specialties are.
Right. Okay. I'm a Marine. I will. All right, let's go.
What do they say? Soldier on, Mr. Harm. Please
Okay.
proceed.
So he rounds the corner, Dr. Rizal. You lockstep behind him?
A couple steps behind him, but yeah.
Okay. You round the corner with him, Dr. Rizal, and he stops, like immediately, goes back to this edge of this corner, like puts his back against that wall, and you can see everything as you're behind him. And you see Max face down. That's what you see first. First, you see Max face down, and these two dog-like beings, somewhat not floating down, but they're obviously not necessarily attached to the ground or the walls. They look like they can move through air because you can catch it really fast with your given your exobiology. They look like they're just gliding fast. They're like multi-legged animals with dried out leathery skin, like hyenas. They have flaps of skin connected to all these legs underneath them, and it looks like they can glide through air or substance, almost like it was water and they were swimming through it. They have these toothed double jaws, impossibly wide, and these 4 eyes on top of their head that are dead glassy. And from the creature skull, they have this stiff kind of lashing tail that's held erect, almost like a cat that's, in charge, straight up. And they're about 1.5 to 2 meters tall, or about at the shoulder. So they're about, 4 to 5.5 feet tall,
Wow.
and they come floating down. One of them goes up on the side of the wall without any trouble and then leans its head down. You see the one on the ground kind of lean both their heads down to Max as if they're smelling him, and you see them shake their head a bit. I'm going to show you everyone a picture of them.
God.
Oh, nice.
What do you do, Dr. Rizal?
They do nothing. They don't seem to be progressing or do anything to Max on the
They
ground.
seem to be inspecting him, and then you see them smell him in a fashion. One's up on the sidewall and one is on the ground next to him. You see them lean over and smell him, and then shake their heads a little bit back and forth. At the same time, in your peripheral vision, you see bodies lining the starboard and port side of the hallway. Toe to head, toe to head, toe to head, head to toe, head to toe, head to toe. 3 bodies on each side, like an alleyway leading to this airlock right there. The hounds, or whatever they are, step on them, but don't necessarily do anything as they inspect Max first. And so their heads are kind of rotated away from you at the moment.
Yeah, I think I would try to keep an eye on if they mean Max harm. But I think for Dr. Rizal, not necessarily a soldier per se, I think he would try to maybe hide and like let them pass. Or, I mean, right? If this was Ace, I think the immediate response would be to fire. But I don't think that's what.
Now, there's nowhere to hide, Dr. Rizal, unless you're planning on playing dead.
No, probably not playing dead. Maybe, I don't know.
You want to?
So there are other ways, right? There's a pathway here, right?
Yeah. Do you want to duck back around the corner?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I kind of turn around to Oni. I'm like, Max is taking a nap. Those aliens don't think don't look like they have any interest in him.
Aliens? What aliens? I don't see any. What? And I'm going to. Should I look around the corner? What are you talking about?
I push him against the wall.
Dr. Rizal, first make a speed check with military training to try to get around the corner, pull harm around the corner with you without being noticed.
Speed
Speed plus
military training.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck, guys.
You grab Harm. Harm is coming back with you. Got his gun out, and you start to go around the corner, and both the hounds' heads pop up, boop, and then they just bay and howl, and you hear this high timbre fluctuating howl come reverberating through the hallways. Everyone takes 2 stress, and I roll a D100. All right. You don't have to make panic checks. And out of the corner of your eye, as you duck around the corner, Dr. Rizal, and start talking to Oni, you see them start to move quickly in your direction, and this baying starts to come out. You see that one of them jump up to the side and even rotate on the wall itself and come back down as if gravity means nothing to them, moving rapidly through, stepping over Max, the android's body, because you know, Dr. Rizal, that they want flesh. They don't want android junk, right?
Refresh our memories. Are we in 0G right now, or is there artificial gravity?
No,
Nope,
this
there's
gravity.
They can just move that way. They are almost moving as if gravity to them is periodic.
And is the airlock entrance, is that closed to us? Are we locked out of that?
That's the sealed.
Yeah, that's one that welded shut.
No, the one that we came through, the entrance.
Oh
is
no,
right
that one's right there. That's still attached to the shuttle.
Is this room that Eric Collins is standing in front of? Is this connect? Like, is this? You said these are connected to like other parts of the ship.
Right there.
Yeah, that vent is smaller. You'd have to get in and crawl through it. It's like an air vent, but it's big enough for you to fit through. Offhand, that it leads to the second deck through another vent up top, like the conduit attaches somehow. Eric Collins.
What about this other room? This room with the like fan looking thing up above? Yeah.
That is life support.
Okay.
You open that door maybe as you're coming out, and the group is pending to, go around the corner. You're still kind of jittery, and that's life support. It looks like, right away, Eric Collins, that it's partly damaged. You can hear it clunky sound as it's trying to work, but it obviously works well enough. There's a big hatch here that's that bigger one, like 2 feet by 2 feet, whereas this smaller one right here is, a smaller air conduit, like 12-15 inches, like you'd belly crawl through it. And this one right here is larger. It's a large kind of 2 feet by 2 feet grate, kind of the same that's in the science that was pushed out, but that one looks solid.
Okay. I feel like we have nowhere else to go. Either I tap Oni's shoulder. I see him looking at the airlock, and I'm saying, if we go in there, we'll be sitting ducks. I point to the smaller vent, and I say, based on the schematics, this goes to the upper deck. That might be a way out.
Yeah.
Of this situation.
And these creatures are too big to get through this opening.
Are they? I haven't seen them yet. I heard of.
I think so. So Oni will jump. He's going into the vent.
You rip open the vent. Oni goes first, like Eric Collins ripped open the vent. He just jumps down and starts crawling through as quickly as possible. Correct?
Yep. That's
okay.
Yeah, nodding.
I think Eric Collins and Oni can easily get in that vent. What I need Dr. Rizal to do is do an opposed speed check. So to see if they get to you before you leave. So they're going to roll their speed check. 48. And you need to roll less than that.
It's just flat speed.
Oh, you could use military training if you'd like. It's more of an initiative check, really.
Okay.
So Oni jumps in the vent. Eric Collins jumps in the vent. Dr. Rizal and Harm close behind him. You all jump into the vent. Now Oni's in the lead. He's just low crawling through this vent that kind of goes up and it takes that right turn. And Oni, as you're crawling through, are you doing anything besides making a lot of noise? You hear scrabbling behind you, like something's trying to tear the wall. But Harm looks behind him and says, "Keep going, Dr. Rizal. They can't make it in." And you're crawling through the vent, Oni, at the start. You crawl through these vents, the four of you, Oni, Eric Collins behind Oni, Dr. Rizal, and then Harm. And Oni, you come to like a vent that angles up a little bit. You come to a wall and you look up and there's a vent like probably in the floor of the upper level. Right. What do you do as you get to that vent, Oni?
As soon as I can see that there's a vent and we didn't pass any other vents?
No.
As soon as I see that there's a vent coming up, if I'm able to, maybe it's a light, just a tiny bit of light or something, I'm going to tell everybody, shh, slow down, and approach it much more quietly as possible, so that I can look through the vent and see if there's anything below.
I'm going to roll random. You hear banging sounds, but it doesn't seem to be coming from the floor or the room itself. Like you're looking up through the vent and you don't see anything, but then you hear these kind of banging sounds, almost like some other vents, something else, or it's maybe in the distance, but it's not above you. It's kind of reverberating through, slightly different banging sounds, almost the same sounds you made as you were crawling through the vent, but maybe a little bit more sharp and tinny, but they're in the distance, kind of echoing like a reverb from somewhere else. You figure that it's probably in the vent system somewhere. Something's in the vent system, but not directly above you.
Okay, so looking through, so I get up to the vent, and you're saying it's a vent in the floor, or it's above?
Yeah, it's above you. You're underneath it because you're like between the two levels.
Okay. And I look through and I see nothing.
No.
Who's behind me? So far they're all way behind me.
Eric Collins is. I figure you're all together. Eric Collins is behind you. Dr. Rizal is behind you, behind Eric Collins, and Harm is in the rear. You're all, the vent's only big enough to go one by one, anyways.
Mm-hmm. How is the vent held in place? Can I kind of quietly push it up? Is it held in place just by sort of friction fit?
Yeah, like it probably has little latches,
or magnets, maybe magnets.
Thumb hole latches, and it sits in a frame. Obviously they periodically have to clean vents and that sort of thing, but you could lift it up. It has to lift up and out. Okay. It's stainless steel or aluminum, you can't tell which, but they're both pretty light metals that don't rust, which is important.
Keeping my foam gun within easy reach, I'm going to sort of push it up and gently move it off to the side.
Okay.
And with foam gun going first, go up and sort of sit up and have my head poking out.
Okay, you poke your head out and you look left or right. You see this hallway. You see a airlock door right there, which you figure is med bay, or at least on the schematic you have is med bay. You have another door here. There's an airlock door all the way at the bottom, and then the hallway branches, takes this slight left turn down. There's another door here and, a door here to these rooms as you come up out of the floor.
Okay, so claw marks. So everything is metal, or is it plastic, or is there a rug on the floor?
It's like metal floor with grip tape you know, and probably grip tape that goes up the sides in case you lose gravity. You have something, to attach your shoes to. Most people are wearing uh, boots that have magnets in it that have a auto sensor. So if gravity drops it, the ship sends out a signal and the boots latch down. Like it's not something you have to do on your own necessarily. It's a kind of safety mechanism of most spacer boots. But it has that kind of, there's no carpets. The walls are metal. It's a functional archaeological science ship. No bells and whistles. You probably see a placard that tells you what level you're on and what part of the ship you're on, and maybe a little map of the rest of it.
Anything, I don't know, I'm just going to ask, anything like claw marks around on the walls, anything that looks like it's sort of clawed
I mean,
and left a mark across the grip tape? Or
you see like drag marks, red drag marks on the floor, and
blood?
probably divots and scratches on the wall. You also see this long rent right here at the airlock door. When you look at it, looks like something hit it, something big rented through the metal, like if you took a sword and slashed a body, but this thing is metal and something slashed the front of the airlock door on this
So
side, but the airlock door looks intact.
so well, it tried to get through, but it was not able to open the door. The door is
Right.
still closed. How long did it take to crawl through the vent?
Probably only took like 5 minutes. I would think that you're pretty close to your condition dropping off.
So everyone is behind me?
Everyone's behind you. Like you come out, I imagine Eric Collins, you drop out too with him as he rises up, or you just wait till he says all clear.
I'll follow him. I know he's not, a fighter
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, well, there's no way for us to switch spots, so I'll have to climb out.
Okay. So you climb out. Eric Collins comes out, and I imagine Dr. Rizal comes out too.
Yep.
What do you do as you reach this second deck? You know this is probably medical, and then crew chambers, really, on this level. Captain's chambers, crew chambers.
We're
Galley.
looking for whatever is draining the ship, our ship of power, and then we can go. Eric is gonna like somehow reiterate that to everyone as we get out. We don't need to fight whatever it is. We just need to get our ship out of this predicament. And then he has a thought of like maybe we should even go to the upper deck because their ship had to get close enough to make contact with our ship at some point, and you can't move the ship without steering it. So whoever actually attached the ship to us must be in the upper deck, right?
It could have just been bumping two ships passing in the night.
Eric Collins, you look up and you call out of this vent, and as you're talking about trying to get to the control, because the control's on the third level of the ship, you look up and you see a vent above you. Now the walls are probably 8 feet tall, or just under 3 meters, but you see the same conduit vent above your head that you just crawled out of.
And looking at the schematics, there's no other way to get to the command deck.
There's stairwell, aft.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You would think, or actually it would be forward. There's stairwell forward.
Gotcha. Because that's a bit high up. Okay.
Well, we could lift each other up 8 feet. That's not a problem.
Okay.
And then the last person in can just reach down and hopefully pull the other person up. If you want to do that. Now, last session, did we not know where we were supposed to go? I thought it was mentioned, or I think the android
we were
mentioned.
trying to figure it out. That's why we spread.
Okay.
You didn't know exactly what was draining the ship or where it was coming from.
Do we have some kind of a tool that would be able to tell?
Think so.
You know, like a circuit meter
Eric?
or something, or a
Eric
dwell.
Collins?
Like a flux dwell meter.
Only one who would have any type of equipment like that would be Eric Collins, and
I don't think I do have that on me.
nope.
I'm assuming if it's something like a simple voltage tester or something like that, but I don't know if that's gonna find the.
He has no proximity, like, you know.
Yeah.
Bloop, bloop, bloop,
There's
bloop.
the aliens. Aliens
The-
little
right,
spin
the
thing.
all-purpose Star Trek
Yeah.
thing, you know. I don't think I have that.
Or any video game that you play nowadays. Go this way for the big
Yeah.
arrow.
Echolocation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like we need to get to the upper deck, whether we take the stairwell or hop back in the vents. I suppose we don't need to go in the vents again if the stairwell's clear, so Eric is gonna try to move towards there, but we should probably check the rooms on our way there.
Yeah, I kind of like if we're searching for something, I think that's a good idea, Mr. Collins.
Yeah.
May I throw
gentlemen.
a suggestion, since we are now playing a hide and seek with aliens that may eviscerate our intestines. You say this is the medical bay right here?
Yeah, your
Yes.
schematics, that's probably the medical bay, which
Okay.
Mr. Tim, the AI, says seems to be functional, and they had advanced surgery capabilities.
Gentlemen, I found this proximity card on the crew chief. Do you think it'll work on the door? And Oni goes and he tries it.
Yeah, medical bay doesn't have a lock, because if you need to get to medical bay, it's like a free like you check it and it's easy to open. Like you spin the handle and you hear this clunk clunk, and just a little bit of pressure, the airlock door just opens up. You see this big gash that goes through it that has folded the metal in, but it missed the latch, and you feel a little bit of suction as you open that door against its open from its knife edge to medical bay, and it's just open maybe a finger's width or so, and you just smell a fetid flesh smell.
So you said the suction, so that meant vacuum.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I started to open. I'm just going to close it right away and lock it.
Well, not vacuum is like it's open to space, but vacuum is if it doesn't have its own vent. You got pressure in the hallway. Medical generally has negative pressure anyways, and it doesn't have its own vent. So you open the door a little bit and you just hear the air go in it a little bit. Shh. Once it re-equilibrates, then you get the smell, but you don't really feel like it's you wouldn't have been able to open the door if there was vacuum. It would have been impossible.
Actually, depending on which way the door opens, like, does it open like a pocket door, or does it open like a hallway door towards me, or does it open
It swings all the way out and lays flat against this wall.
Okay.
Like if you had to bring someone in a stretcher or that sort of thing, it swings all the way open. It's probably one of the most airlock doors would probably swing all the way open to allow full access.
I mean, okay. I'm not going to open it anymore. I'm saying, do you smell that?
Well, okay. So as Oni was like opening the door behind, I just continue with my thought, because I'm just like lost in my train of thought of like, based off of the small encounter that we had, and I'm speaking to Eric Collins because Oni just kind of left. It's based on the small encounter that we just had. They seem to have a sense of smell that can, or a strong sense of smell that they can determine whether or not we're a human or not. So I think in that medical bay, we could possibly find something that could mask our scent, in addition to hiding from these extraterrestrials. What say you, Mr. Collins?
That sounds like a good plan if it lets us.
Good. Let's go. I think Dr. Rizal is kind of like he already knew the answer.
Oh, so you're just literally bouncing it off of me just to catch it back in your hand.
You're just guiding us. Yes.
Oh, good. Mr. Oni seems to have opened the door. Proceed. Just like start pushing him in.
You open the door all the way, Oni?
I'll open it just a tiny bit, just enough to be able to see inside.
All right, Oni, you in there?
Unless I'm pushed out of the way and
I see you open the door a little bit. You get a full waft of it. You see a stainless steel exam table, typical medical bay exam table. The space in and of itself looks pristine, except for the half autopsied body on the medical table itself. You don't hear anything in the space. The body has got its skin kind of open and flayed and tacked down. It's probably got little flag pins in it.
like the frog that we all did.
Yeah.
Right. And it's open, but it's a human body, completely naked, half autopsied. Aside from that, the medical bay, you open it a little bit further, maybe a hand width. You see everything's intact. It's got a advanced surgical unit that's attached to the wall. That's probably a backpack size, bolted to the wall with this long arm, automated surgical equipment, which the Gambit doesn't have. And it's, kitted out archaeological science med bay. And it probably has some advanced diagnostic tools, because they're scientists. Like if they get in, obviously they're autopsying a body. So it may have some advanced science tools, including a scanner and there's something called a Android scanner in the equipment. And so if you kind of see that equipment on, the cabinetry, all still stainless steel on the sides there. And then above it, there's these glass stainless steels with, racks of medications or whatever.
I was going to ask that if there were med cabinets.
Right above. And that's what you see as you look in there, Oni. What does the group do?
No, quick, real quickly. Observation of the bodies that we saw on the other level, the ones that had been chewed open. You mentioned only organs were missing, not fleshy muscle. They went for organs.
Right. Their abdominal cavity was scooped out, so it was empty from pelvic rim to the bottom of their rib cage. Their lungs were intact.
No
liver, spleen, small, large intestine are missing, bladder. The bony pelvis is there and the diaphragm, and then the pink lungs are just peeking out at the bottom, but everything else is gone.
Okay.
You can kind of see the spine. When you peek in at this one, it looks like it's being autopsied. And that's what you see. Its abdomen seems to be intact.
Okay. So no sign of critters in there.
No, you don't hear anything in there.
Okay. So guys, let's go in here. It looks like it's safe in here, but there's a dead body. Just letting you know. Don't panic. No panic roll. So Oni opens the door enough to get through.
Okay. You all go inside?
Yes.
Yeah.
You leave the door open or close it? Okay.
I'll leave it up to the military trained guys.
So you close the airlock door, throw the side. There's this body of a male sitting in there. His head's been shaved. He has like this purple dotted line around his cranium, but his cranium has still intact. He's in the process of being autopsied. His chest has been cracked. His ribs are open. You can see his heart and his lungs, and he has a vertical ventral incision down to his belly button, and that's open. He still has all his internal organs.
Okay.
Aside from that, the med bay is pristine. It has an advanced surgical unit attached to the wall. It has, you know, a stock of medicine at the top and assorted tools. But aside from the body and the smell, you don't necessarily notice anything specific.
Okay. You see, there must be like a little box of gloves.
Sure.
You see Oni put on a pair of gloves, walks over to the corpse, reaches in, maybe he grabs a scalpel nearby, and you see him like lop off a kidney. And then he kind of grabs with his clean hand, well, not his clean hand, I guess they're both bloody now, but opens up this little vial, guys, and you see him sort of shake out a purple pill into the kidney, and then he tosses it to one of you and says, "Here, keep that." And he goes in, cuts off the other kidney, shakes out a purple pill, stuffs it inside the kidney, throws it to the next guy. Takes the liver, takes the third purple pill, and pushes it into that. And he says, "These we need to throw at those beasts if they come at us."
So I don't think Dr. Rizal needs to make a stress roll, but I'm almost positive that Eric Collins has to make a stress roll.
I think I'm in a room with a monster also. Oh no, we woke up a serial killer.
So Eric Collins, make a stress roll, because I think this is Dr. Rizal. He doesn't have to make a stress roll, but you do. Dr. Rizal, as Oni is going to town, you probably clue into what he's doing.
That's right.
No, not a panic, just stress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will it help? Will he get assistance if I tell him that I'm putting a cyanide pill in to kill the critter?
No, because he just sees you go, up to your elbows in gore and start throwing organs at him. Like, he has no idea what you're doing. Dr. Rizal probably sees the purple tablet and knows what it is immediately. Dr. Rizal, what do you do as you enter med bay? Oni goes to work and starts throwing organs around.
I think he would watch Oni for a second to at first he's like, "What in the hell are you doing?" in his head. And then when he realizes what he was doing is like, have you ever considered doing work for biological weapons, Mr. Oni?
Should we look for biological weapons?
We'll talk more about this when we're back on the ship. And then he goes and proceeds to try to find some kind of scent neutralizing agent to help
plan
us
A,
hide.
Oni plan B.
Dr. Rizal, you go through the cupboards, and all you really find of use is a number of automeds. Automeds are nanotech pills that assist you in a body save to repairing damage, and it grants you advantage to body saves meant to repel disease or damage or poison, and also to heal from rest. So if you rest and you use a nanotech pill, you get advantage on your body save for resting. And so you find a number of automeds, which are the most important thing, and probably stim packs, medications, that sort of thing, that are less valuable for the moment. Oni with surgery probably finds surgical kits.
Any anesthetics.
And those type of things, yeah.
Okay, so that's another plan. So if there's any kind of
sure.
how would anesthetic be applied in the future? Would it still be injectable, or
it'd probably be IV? It still would be injectable, IV, or skin diffusion. It wouldn't be much different. Like they can only deliver stuff so many ways.
So it would almost be maybe if there's something there, that somehow we could, well, if the space hounds can be anesthetized.
Yeah,
so
you have no idea.
I'll think about that. I'll think about that, guys. So that
called Automed.
Yeah, Automed. So if you go to
I got it.
Automeds, everyone probably can take an auto med times 5. You stack up, you realize we don't have these on our ship, and they can help us heal.
Well, no luck on the neutralizing agent, but I did find drugs, so here you go.
And stim packs, but you all have plenty of stim packs. Aside from that, you get routine kind of tools. I'm looking for our look for the diagnostic tool. There is a diagnostic tool, but for some reason it's not on the list, which gives you advantage when you roll med scanner. So there's a med scanner, like a portable med scanner. It allows the user to scan living tissue or dead bodies to analyze for disease or abnormalities. And it would give advantage for like surgery checks, healing checks, that sort of thing.
Is there any medication there that would be sort of anti-anxiety medication?
Not necessarily, no. Not like benzos. Not like benzos, no, because anything that would
bring your stress down,
everything that would make them float would make them at risk. A benzodiazepine isn't the best thing to be on when you're on, a planet. But you could, if you're gonna say I'm looking for a anxiolytic, like a oral anxiolytic, sure, you could say that
weed?
There's Xanax or
THC. I'm looking at all the bottles. THC.
It would give you advantage to stress check probably, but it would give you a disadvantage to speed and strength. Or one of those.
Eric just sees these two zipping around the room, and he's just, because he did not catch the organ that was thrown to him. It
Ran on the floor.
Just gotta hit your chest and bounce off.
So I'm gonna go find some gloves and go pick it up.
Okay.
Just pale faced.
So everybody knows that I put a cyanide tablet into one of these organs.
Yes, I do now. But when I first started seeing you cut up the body, I'm shocked, and now I'm a bit deflated. I'm like, who am I with? I'm with these two people. I had a crew, and now I have more crew, and I don't know these two as well as the other two. and I see this, and you two are fairly calm right now, and I'm like, okay, all right, okay, just withdrawn a little bit.
So you've been in the med bay probably 15 minutes or so. And what do you do now? You create these, I guess, cyanide-laced treats, get, a med kit and a few medical pills that can help you with recovery, and a med scanner. And you're still in med bay. Med bay has no exits besides the airlock door. What do you do now?
Eric Collins puts his ear to the airlock and is trying to suss out if he can hear any motion. Well, they don't touch the walls or anything. He still listens.
Okay.
See if he can hear anything.
Roll a intellect check. Just flat. You hear this scrabbling. Like little pingings in the hallway.
I communicate that to Oni and Dr. Reyes. What the fuck is that? I grip my organ and I say, are you guys ready? I think I might hear something in the hallway.
Should I out of character, just to the group. Do you want to do the horror movie trope and Split Up?
I don't want to do that out of character.
It can cover more ground.
If you want to give it a shot, we can.
Okay.
But Eric Collins is gonna need some explanation.
Okay, so as Eric Collins says, what did you say? What the hell is that?
Yeah, something's in the hallway. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I hear something skittering.
Does it sound like the space hounds?
It's not
No.
howling, no. So it might be the second bigger thing.
Space Hounds really didn't make any noise.
Yeah.
They were like Dr. Rizal would know. They're like apex hunters. Like they once their heads popped up, it was stalking kill mode, and they went shoo, and just flowed towards you with very little noise, very little touch of the walls. Like it was just this streaming right towards you.
Maybe.
So
They were howling.
except for the
Yeah.
howl. Like they're just like, that's the hunt. Like, oh, they're close. We're gonna get them. And but they didn't make any noise as they moved besides the howl.
So maybe this is the smaller, more like carry-on. Is that the word? Carry-on?
Carrion.
Yeah,
Or the-
maybe it's that creature.
Yeah.
Or they're spawned.
you're right.
Maybe they've spawned already.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Can you
Yeah.
describe the object that we're looking for, Mr. Collins? I think it's probably best that we stay as low profile as possible and cover as much ground as quickly as possible.
Yeah. I think we went over it last session. Eric Collins can't think of any specific piece of technology that would be able to drain a ship just by making contact to the hull.
Right. If he thinks it's just from contact,
Yeah.
no, like there's nothing that would drain the engines and
And
suck
there's not
the
like an
reserve.
obvious like EMP, but an EMP would just shut it down. It wouldn't slowly drain it.
Eric Collins would probably feel that it's something like that because it puts Max to the dirt.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. That
Right?
makes sense.
Like
That's the context.
everything shuts off, or like,
Yeah.
and it also drops the ship's AI. Max, the android, drops to the dirt. So everything electrical, everything shuts down and drains, like, and
Gotcha.
but it doesn't really affect you,
Mhm.
biologic creatures. Max goes to the floor.
So
Yeah.
we're looking for something
So-
close enough to an EMP.
And that would only
So, Mr. Collins, if I can, if we don't know what we're looking for, what if we just blew up the ship?
It's right next to ours. The most we should maybe do is shut down the ship. Give that a shot.
Would that work?
I don't know, but it can't hurt.
question. Something that would be able to generate a field like that, I would think would have to be something to do with the engine.
Correct.
Unless there's some kind of artifact, like an archaeological artifact, like alien technology that they found, maybe?
Maybe that would explain the aliens.
That too.
Actually, since we're in the med bay where they're doing diagnostics, a thought occurs to Dr. Rizal. Maybe I could look for some notes to understand a little bit more about what we're doing, or
Sure.
what these are.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Please
Go
go
ahead.
on.
You probably find a little notebook, like where tucked underneath the body, like the beginning of the autopsy. And it is crazy, Dr. Rizal. It starts normal. Mark the head, ventral incision, heart looks good. And then it just gets weird. Like, it talks about all sorts of weirdness. It starts drawing little figures of different kind of figurines in the page, and there's little names marked and little check boxes, and even a sentence that says, I think I could make that. And then it starts to babble. Like it starts normal, but then roughly about it has time marks. Like he puts times, like anyone who's doing a investigation and autopsy writes down the times of marking this, cutting this,
Yeah,
this
timestamps.
out, right? That sort of thing. You know, descending aorta clotted through, that sort of took a sample directly from the heart with a big syringe for analysis. And then after at 42 minutes, roughly, it gets crazy. Then there's like weird drawings. There's drawings of different android parts attached to human parts, and tongues and multiple eyes and slashing antlers and different little votives and iconography that just kind of goes crazy, and then upside down numbers and backward numbers. And Dr. Rizal just goes crazy from there.
Yeah. So
Quick question. Quick question though. Antipsychotic medicines.
No.
okay.
Damn.
So
They would put you in cryo, put you down.
I asked the group, how long have we been on this ship?
Maybe 25 minutes, if I'm counting the minutes right. Maybe a little more, half an hour.
So if this poor fella's notes are correct, we have somewhere between 20 and 30 minutes before we start to lose our minds. Interesting.
If it's infectious, yeah.
If it's in the air, I hope not.
Oh, we haven't come across anything that's alive yet. There's that.
Other than the aliens, no. Oh, great. So you mean it lends to the fact that it might be in the air, for us at least.
It could be the pulses too. I don't know. There's
really
much evidence we still need.
Yes.
The samples, man. The samples.
Do we even have the sample reading capabilities on our ship?
Well, you have a med scanner now,
Yes.
but it doesn't, you probably load samples in it. If you check the med scanner, there's probably sample loading to some point in time that matches the notebook, and then there's none, but it all says normal, 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 no parasites, no infection, normal, normal, normal.
Only you don't see an obvious cause of like death on this on the body.
Well, he's missing a few organs, but no, not other than that.
You see Dr. Rizal nodding. Yeah.
I should actually roll. I don't know.
That would probably be a good cause of death.
Oni got so involved that he goes, oh, and he rolls over the body. And he just sees the back of the skull. Looks like it's been bashed in.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, bashed in. Okay.
By blunt force trauma.
All right. Well,
that may
might
be
have
cause
been...
of death.
But he doesn't see any marks. Either does Dr. Rizal. You look at the body, you don't see any marks that you saw on the other bodies.
Mm-hmm.
This is all pristine autopsy with a blunt force trauma and a occipital skull fracture. When you roll him over, you realize, oh, there's a huge, like someone hit him with a bat or something on the back of the head.
And obviously from behind. So
from behind.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it's
probably a person, probably a human.
Yeah.
Did that.
So clearly someone on board is probably demented.
Potentially, if they're still alive, they haven't been eaten by one of these things yet.
Because if you recall, the room that we were in earlier, Mr. Collins, they also showed no signs of a struggle. So meaning they trusted whoever was in the room with them.
God. And they might still be here with us.
That is to be assumed.
Quick question. Do I have a connection to our ship? Can I check the level of energy the engine has?
Sure, you have like that communicator. You all do, kind of like if you split up, you could talk to each other or see each other.
Mr. Tim.
Mr. Tim. Mr. Tim. you get nothing, Mr. Tim.
Well, if he is listening, I say, can I get a readout of how much, what the status of the engine is?
They're just like,
The core.
you don't think it's static. You don't think there's a barrier. It's just the ship is not acting. Is not responding, or
Oh.
Mr. Tim isn't responding.
I think we went over in vac suits, didn't we?
Yeah.
You went over in gear because Mr. Tim told you there was perfectly fine atmosphere in the ship.
I've got armor 4. That means vac suit, doesn't it?
Yeah, you could wear your vac suit over without the helmet, that sort of thing. Like, you know.
I have armor 3 with a vac suit on.
Right.
Wearing it.
I mean, you're going on a derelict ship, so
Yeah.
you might wear a vac suit. And that's, you know, when I asked what you were going over, and that's perfectly reasonable. You don't know, like, the integrity of ship. Mr. Tim told you it hadn't been breached, and it had perfectly, and the habitation was working great because it was siphoning all your habitation off. Oxygen levels were normal.
So what? Do you think it's too late, guys, to put our so do we have? I mean, without retconning, I mean, do we have our helmets on or not? I guess not.
I don't think Eric Collins would put his helmet on. I don't think Eric Collins came over in a vac suit, just because it was safe enough, and yeah. But if you did, I don't know. I don't know if we'd all would bring our helmets out of the ship. Well, because I think we tested, we opened the door, and you know, fresh air, air rather. So I don't think any of us would have came out with helmets on, knowing that we could easily breathe the air at least. But also, we've been breathing this air long enough that if there's something in the air. Yeah.
But that was the question: is were we wearing helmets? Because if we had helmets on, then we are not exposed.
I think role play, or in my head canon, I don't think Dr. Rizal would be wearing his.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll go with the.
I'm just trying to, like, if you go into a ship, I'm thinking, like, would he really keep his helmet on all the time, knowing?
No, you have the scene when they land and the computer says air is good. Everyone goes. And
because I would imagine that the air that we have on our suit is finite, so
it only lasts
right.
I
don't want to waste it, right?
You don't know how long.
I think it, and plus, right, when you're wearing a helmet, I would think poorer visibility.
Yeah, so, and sound and stuff. It just creates a lot of barriers to interacting.
So you're
in my head canon. Personally, I would rather it be on, being that what we know. But you know, in my head canon, I don't think it would work.
Let's that's that kind of story. For the future.
So you're in med bay, and you. How long do you stay? What do you plan?
I think, yeah. No. I was just going to say, if there's no other medicines that we can take or anything else, we need to keep moving. Mr. Collins, is there? If we go to the main.
Control center,
the bridge of the ship. Can we shut down systems from there, rather than actually find?
Presumably, yeah. We should be able to power everything down, and see if that has an effect. See if we can get back in touch once everything's powered down. Maybe, but then that would shut down life support also, so that would give us a limited time to figure out what's happening also. Another timer.
If we go into any of the crew areas, they should have vac suit helmets.
Potentially, yes. Or something near enough to the airlocks that's where they would store the vac suits, if we haven't already passed something like that.
Have we?
No, you're in crew chambers now. Like crew chambers here, captain chambers here.
We can look and see if they have vac suits in there.
First mate's quarters.
Well, we would know whether. Sort of as far as crew etiquette.
And typically lockers would have vac suits if the ship was equipped with them for emergency protocol. If the ship was like, you would, a red klaxon would womp, 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 and you'd go jump in your vac suit. But then again, that would only happen with complete decompression of the ship, and honestly, no one's
By then,
surviving that anyway.
yeah.
So why would you have a vac suit like in a locker? Like it's not like you're gonna like.
Yeah.
So do we know whether we should anticipate vac suits in
The
crew
only
lock?
place you would anticipate vac suit is a control center,
Okay.
pilot house.
Okay.
Everything
So, yeah.
else could be shut down and die, and they could still pilot the ship.
Gotcha. So if we need them, they'll be there. But yeah, I think we need to get out of this room, and
Yes.
because whatever it is could be just surrounding us. We could already be hunted. Yeah, let's see what's going on. We have to figure this out. We
Okay.
don't have
I
any
don't have
shot.
much time.
Yeah.
Yes. Should somebody stay in the med bay and see whether we can isolate whether there is an infectious agent? And who has the skills to do that? I'm sort of first aid and unconventional medical treatments, shall we say?
I don't think there's any sign, I guess, out of character. I don't know if Eric Collins would be. I don't think there's any sign of an infectious agent so far. So I don't know. I think if we are going to split up and check this floor real quick before we move up to the upper deck, we probably need all hands on deck.
Out of
Okay.
character, I agree.
Okay.
We'll follow you, boss.
All right. So yeah, Eric Collins goes over, listens to the door. Do I hear any the skittering still?
No, you don't hear
All right.
anything. It's completely quiet. Even the
I'm gonna
fans have
pull-
shut off. Like you almost don't hear the hum. That's 60 or 90 hertz hum.
I open the door.
You open the door and peek out the hallway and don't see anything.
Okay. Then I will proceed to check the closest room.
Well, there's these two to the left. You know they're probably crew quarters and likely captain's first mate quarters.
I go to check the captain's quarters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Following-
Eric Collins leaves and walks over to the captain quarters doors. What does Dr. Rizal do?
I will go the opposite. I will go to the first mates.
Okay. And you go to the first mate's
And what
hallway.
about
So-
this down here?
That is like scientist birthing.
Okay, I'll go there.
Okay.
Okay. Before we all open our respective doors, I just kind of look
1,
at
2, 3.
good luck, gentlemen. Hope to see you on the other side.
Clutching my organ meat, I just nod at you.
All right. So Eric College, you go and the door is slightly ajar. It's a pretty ornate door, and there's a placard right on it that says Captain Yan Cheng on it, and it's partly ajar, maybe just hitting the lock mechanism, clack, 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 clack. Just moving a little bit, just from air movement. As you get close to it, cause a little air movement, and the door opens a little bit and closes. The hinges work very well and are oiled, and you don't hear any sound, but you see the captain's placard and the name Yan Cheng, Yancheg.
All right, I press the door
Gentlemen.
open.
Okay.
Look for the unexpected.
All of this is unexpected.
It's all unexpected. No, but just in case it is some kind of an alien artifact.
So
Yes,
you look
yes.
in there, you see a desk, and it looks relatively Spartan. The captain, she looked like she was relatively Spartan. You see a desk with another placard in there written in metal and chased, inlaid with her name. There's a small bunk in an alcove, over here. Directly as you open the door, you can kind of see that small bunk. You see a desk and a personal computer and a wall comm, over here on this right-hand side. And probably a book on the table. And that's what you see.
Okay.
The bunk, there's a bunk right there because typically there's like a little shade that's pulled and that shade is pulled closed. So like if you were sleeping in the bunk or a rack, you would pull the shade so it would darken, so you didn't see rather than darkening the whole room. So you just see the shade pulled, and that's the captain's bunk that's inset into that wall.
I go to pull that shade.
Steal yourself first. Steal.
Here's where you hear like the trill of like suspenseful music.
Yeah, I don't do it fast, but I creep across the room, of course. Yeah.
All right. You pull open the shade, and you see this occupying the whole.
Oh, fuck. You should have actually warned people in case somebody had arachnophobia.
Yeah, but that wasn't a line or veil, so I was probably pretty good. We're go to Dr. Rizal. You open the door to the first mate's quarters. You see the first mate sitting in his chair, laid back like this, eyes open to the ceiling, head relaxed back. It's a male. He's obviously got his head back and dead, and he's wearing like a waterproof poncho and has a flare gun on his desk, and there's a SK-109 seeker rifle in its position, like on the wall, like a wall hanger for his seeker rifle, and a Vivichetti, which is like a electric sword, hanging right next to it on the wall. And he's just there dead. Now he has a bunk back here, and you're looking in the door. What does Dr. Rizal do?
So he'll step in and he sees the first mate. He's like, no, don't get up. And he just kind of like dry chuckles to himself. That was good. That was a good one. And then he goes and walks in to the sword.
Walk up to the sword immediately.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
How come?
I figure a weapon.
Yeah,
right?
like catches your eye right away.
Yeah.
Make an intellect check at disadvantage.
Oh.
Yeah, you are immediately drawn to that Vivichetti on the wall, and the SK-109 is hanging next to it. Like it's right behind him. The first mate is sitting in his chair with his neck back and dead, and you like walk back him and you make that little quip, okay, don't get up. And then you go to the Vivichetti because it's right there. Put your hand on it, and then you hear right behind you in the corner of the room, and you look up and you see the exact same thing that Eric Collins sees. I will show a picture for Harm, and I will catch Harm up here in just a second. In the back, it has more than 8 legs. It's got these spiny ridges on its back. It's about 2 feet tall, or 0.75 meters. It looks like it has these tentacled armored fronts with this long proboscis that hangs down, and it's got spines that undulate down its back. As an exobiologist, that sometimes these things have paralyzing poison, sometimes they have acid, and sometimes they're just mean. We will.
Bullshit.
I will catch Harm up briefly, and then we'll go to Oni. Harm, the group started down here in the first level, and as the corpses came alive, jittering on the floor, everyone did a panic check. 2 people did fine. Well, actually, one person passed their panic check. Dr. Rizal was completely unfazed, but everyone else fails. Harm failed his panic check and got the panic condition called loss of confidence. So he lost his ability to use his skill athletics because he became unbalanced by these bodies jumping on the floor like fish out of water and rolling their eyes. They decided to go check on Max, who was checking out the cryo chambers, and Harm and Dr. Rizal rounded a corner and saw these multi-legged hounds of some nature inspecting Max, like sniffing him. I'll show you what they look like. And you all decided to run. Unfortunately, you made a little bit too much noise, so their heads popped up and gave chase. You decided to go in this vent right here that was just a crawl vent, and everyone crawled through that vent because those hounds couldn't get into the vent, and crawled up to the second level, and then entered the med bay where they found a partially autopsied corpse, closed the airlock, and then discussed a bunch of stuff. They found some medical auto meds for everyone, which helps you gain advantage when you rest or treat injury. And they found some anxiolytic medications and other medicines. Oni decided to continue the autopsy in a way where he took out the kidneys and liver, and he had found some cyanide pills on the first floor in the captain. So he stuffed the cyanide pills in the kidneys and liver and started throwing them at everyone because he was going to use them as bait in case the aliens showed up. And then eventually the group had to leave medical because there's no way out. And so they left medical and they decided to check out their rooms. Eric Collins went here, which is the captain's room. Dr. Rizal went here, which is the first mate's room. And Oni went here, which is the scientist's room in this second floor. Harm is just kind of in the hallway. Would you accompany either of them, or would you go check out the crew quarters, or will you just maintain position and guard?
I'll probably just guard at this point
Okay.
because based off what you have said, my character is just like on guard at this point of like, what the fuck is happening? So
He's kind of lost himself a little bit when he loses confidence. Like, he is a Marine, but that happens. He loses a sense down there when those bodies starts moving for some reason, and he's still kind of rattled. Oni, you open the door to the essentially archaeologist or science quarters, and as soon as you open the door, the stench of decay is almost overwhelming. Now, you're medical as it is, so you're accustomed to it, but there's nothing underneath your nose to help. And even you probably hold your breath a bit. Someone else like Eric Collins may have to make an immediate fear check, but you're medical and you just had your hands deep into this body or were pulling out kidneys. So I don't think the stench of decay to you necessarily needs you to make a fear check, but immediately that there's dead in there. You kind of open the door a little bit and you see the walls are covered with photographs and drawings of this something across the wall as you're looking through the doorway. And there's piles of paper that looks like it covers this form on the floor, like paper and books and all sorts of stuff all over the top of whatever is this lump on the floor that looks like body shape. And you can smell decomposition as you open the door.
Okay, so I'm still standing in the hallway, but the door is open. And is the door open towards me, or does it open into the
Inward?
Inward. Is there anything near the door, such as a broom handle or any kind of probe of some sort?
There's a bookcase right over here. Like, you could probably, if you're thinking about holding the door open, you could probably like grab a book and, shove it underneath the door, if that's your thought. There's not really a broom or anything else. There's a chair and a desk over here. You'd have to go into the room and pull the desk, the chair over to keep the door open.
I I have to admit, I mean, if I was walking into a room that smelled like death, I'm going to be looking around before I step into it. So,
Okay.
is there any kind of a awareness check that I can do, or
You do an intellect check,
intellect? But if I fail it, I stress out.
right? Okay. You get 1 stress whenever you fail a check.
Okay. So I just click on intellect
Uh-huh.
and normal. I take it.
Yeah, because you don't really have a skill that would necessarily help you.
Yeah, it doesn't look like theology would do me very well.
Yeah, I think you're completely oblivious, Oni. I don't know if the smell, you're almost, something catches your eye. What is it? Like you really see nothing but that. What is it?
Whatever's so my stress has gone up automatically. I think.
Right,
I know.
it does it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm drawn to whatever's hiding beneath. So quick, very quickly.
Mhm.
Kind of alien symbols on these drawings that are on the wall.
It looks like from where you are at the edge, it looks like some sort of pillar or icon, or it has that kind of triangular shape. They're all like that. Like some of them some of them have color, but most of them are just dense black and white, like scrawled in there. You can tell.
But drawings, right? Not
right, drawings.
structures. Okay.
Right.
But there's something. Oh, it's got to be a dead body under the papers. So I'll just kind of, I'll look around if there's something that I can at a distance sort of just poke at the papers, move a piece of paper away at a time.
Yeah, you like move the paper a little bit and the body moves and just rolls over, like it's picked up as you move the paper, picks up a little bit, shifts a little bit. You see the head loll back and just it's decrepit and it rolls over. And then these legs reach up because it's on its back, and you see this thing underneath it that looked like it's still feeding on the body.
I'm out of there. I'm out of there.
What we'll do is we'll have each of you roll a speed for is that how do you do it? God, I have to remember. For initiative.
Tested.
Let me check. Off the top of my head, I forgot. Turn order.
We did.
Yeah.
We were about to be freaking paralyzed and cocooned.
Oh man, we all failed. Fuck. Pardon my language. Okay, while Gene is looking there, I'm going to go get a beverage.
Take a 5-minute break.
My last one.
Take a 5-break. Get a drink and go to the bathroom. All right, everyone's back. Everyone failed their speed check. Well, really what it is a speed check. It's a D100 and you just parse out. But the aliens rolled a 37. So they go first. Eric Collins, you open this bunk and it's right there. And it just, the 2 front legs reach out to try to grab you. And these tentacled kind of chitinous things that hang down, this proboscis reaches out and tries to bite you. It misses though. It probably shoots, like you catch it off guard because the curtain slides back and makes all this noise, and it rears back and shoots out this kind of proboscis, goes right over your shoulder. What do you do?
I want to scramble back and try to get that door closed on it.
Okay. I would think that would be a speed check, to scramble back and close the door and hold it closed.
Because it's not the latch.
Yeah, they get out of the room. You really not many skills that can help you, but
Yeah.
speed check or an attack.
Would
But if
I
you
be able to?
now these things are smaller than you. They're only
Yeah.
about 2 feet tall. They got multiple legs. They don't have hands.
Yeah.
So it's reasonable for you to think, Eric Collins, that if you got out of the room, you could hold the door, do something, or even close it. That maybe it wouldn't
that
be open.
latch is broken.
Right.
I'm assuming I won't have enough time to jury rig anything. As far as like getting that latch to click.
It's got a D handle,
Mm-hmm.
so you could shove something through it.
Okay.
Against the wall, rather than a right.
Could I? Do I have anything that could actually fit through there? I think that inverted cross is just a patch I have. Would a water filtration device be able to?
Yeah, anything with anything
latch it?
it's metal, so anything you could just shove in there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try to run over to the door, close it behind me, and shove a thing in there. Can I add my jury riggings to that? Since I'm trying to do all those
first
steps?
Get out of the room.
Okay. I don't think I made
it. I see you get to the door, but I think the door is still open as it clambers out after you this round, following you across the door. You're just not fast enough to get through the doorway, close the doorway, and do that all at once. Oni, you're in the archaeological, and you shift over this body, and you kind of stumble back as this body moves, and it is on its back, so it can't really bite you or that sort of thing. But what it does is it shivers, and its legs just go like this, and these spikes that are along it just break off and shoot at you.
Oh, come on, that's not fair.
But it misses. It probably hits you, but doesn't go into your. It gets tangled up in your robes or what you're wearing, and you stumble back towards the door. Oni, what do you do?
How large is this? Like a small dog?
It's about 2 feet tall, or 0.75 meters. It's got that bulbous body. The legs are really long, but it's maybe a half to a third of your total size or mass.
I'm going to hose it down with a foam gun.
Okay. That would
because
work.
I'm close enough.
That would work. You figure anything trying to walk on foam is going to be hard and slippery. And so what you do is you just click foam gun, and you don't really have a skill that would work, and then you just put normal.
I'm going to be praying while I do I get the theology bonus? Oh, come on. Well, the foam's got to go somewhere.
Right, I just see you shoot it over it, like it crouches down and it hits the back wall. It just kind of flows down the back wall as you're backpedaling towards the door.
Yes, exactly, yes. I forgot to say that, yes.
Right. Dr. Resolve, it gets to jump on you. Do you take one of those weapons off the wall?
Yeah. I'll take it off the wall.
Do you take the vibrochetti, or the vibrochetti, the sword is probably a much better idea than the long range sniper rifle.
It might kind of like head cannon, right? It's like I guess it came from behind somehow, or from
it was
the
like
body.
in that corner, and you
in the corner
became attached. You saw the weapons and the vibrochetti, which this kind of slightly curving, almost scimitar looking sword.
I think in with all the stress that he's experiencing, I think that quip kind of threw him off for actually the danger that he's in, and then he his eyes went straight to the vibrochetti or the sword or whatever, and he just beelined straight for it, right?
And I didn't put vibrochetti on it, so we will just do it manually. I guess I didn't make a a equipment with the Ribrichetti. I even see it on here. But we will just have you roll strength and whatever else, and I will figure out what the damage is. So it attacks you first.
Yeah.
And it rises up to bite you. Same sort of thing at Eric Collins. These kind of massive chitinous kind of tentacles hanging down from his face, and this one long, thick one with a really sharp siphon type of edge shoots out and tries to bite you. And it just misses, probably skips off the right side of your rib cage. What does Dr. Rizal do?
I think so. As he's doing that, probably reaching for the Vibrichetti, and he gets attacked. He's like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, it probably catches you off guard and goes off your flank a little bit as you're half turning.
Let's put that downward.
Right. So if you're going to make an attack with it, you would just use strength, and you could use military training.
You wouldn't use combat, or you'd use strength?
Oh, you use combat. My fault. Combat and military training. Okay. Right.
Hopefully. Not quite.
Close.
Almost. What happens, Dr. Rizal? You got this kind of humming blade in your hand. It's been a long time since you used the Vibrichetti.
Yeah. I think he has it in his hands, and he forgets to activate, because I guess Vibrichetti, it's got
right.
You gotta turn it on or something, right? So he doesn't remember his basic military training, and he just kind of like, he's fumbling trying to remember, right? And then just kind of hits it, and it just bounces off the chitin.
Right. It's not activated.
Yeah.
No edge to it. It's dull.
Yeah.
Harm, you're out in the hallway, and it would be really hard to miss this commotion. You probably see the backside of Eric Collins, backing out of his room by the captain's room. You probably hear Dr. Rizal hit something, this big clank in the other room. I don't know if you really hear Oni, but since you're a Marine and you're a bit jumpy at the moment, you probably can tell when a foam cannon goes off, which would be not expected. What does Harm do?
He'll probably go and check out Eric Collins'
Okay.
area.
So
first.
If you move to the doorway of Eric Collins, go ahead.
Because at that point, he's probably like, if the cannon goes off, he's probably like, if the cannon goes off, that's probably handled as well as it can be at the moment. So anyone without a weapon, I will try to help.
Okay.
See what's going on.
So you go to Eric Collins, you take those 3 or 4 steps. Eric Collins is starting to stumble out the back. You look over his shoulder and see that thing in the room come scrambling out of the inset sleep rack of the captain. What do you do?
Remind me, is his the one that's on its back, or was that
No, that was Oni's over here in the back. Yeah, Eric Collins is.
Probably got it. I'll probably try and shoot it.
Okay. So you would just, Eric Collins is coming out. What are you going to use? Your Kano X9 shotgun or the submachine gun? The shotgun does more damage.
probably do shotgun just
Okay.
for the sake of it's the one that's better at close range.
So click on shotgun and choose military training.
Just normal, right?
Yeah, just normal.
Okay.
I won't give you
Why-
disadvantage for Eric standing in front of you. Oh. You stick your shotguns past Eric Collins, and Eric Collins just feels it. This huge sound right next to you. Probably you lose hearing on one side, like it's this reverberation through the whole room. Everyone make a speed check, which is really make your speed, and I just roll a D100.
I don't think we've had any successes.
Nope.
Yeah,
That's the way the
this
cookie
game is
crumbles.
you just quickly spiral.
Hey.
Wow, it got a 10.
Got one success.
I got a
2.
success too. 13.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So Dr. Rizal and Harm, we'll go to Dr. Rizal first, and then Itergo, and then the other two, because it's very close. Dr. Rizal, you turn with the Viversetti and probably realize you have to turn it on for it to work. What do you do now that you're standing? You're both kind of at the doorway. It's blocking your way out a little bit. What does Dr. Rizal do?
Yeah, I'm gonna swing. It's like I turned it on this time. You're a deadbeat. Point to it. Let's see. Hopefully.
There you go. I don't know the damage of a Viversetti, so I'm just going to say it's 2d10.
It's 3d10.
3d10. Okay, roll 3d10.
And then you get a roll in the bleeding and gore.
Okay.
Both. So
all right.
3d10.
15. All right, so you slice through, like you take off 3 of its legs on one side and the top part of its carapace on its abdomen, and do 15 total, and you get to roll bleeding and gore.
Yeah.
You want me to roll that for you, or are you?
I have it here. So it's a d10. So this one's for bleeding.
Yeah, it's also on the roll tables.
4, which is major cut bleeding +2.
Right, so it bleeds two rounds. Bleeds
and then
2 per round, but
gore. This one's for gore. 10. So that's vomit minus, or I guess disadvantage on next action.
Oh, disadvantage. Okay, that's good. So you cut through it. It starts to glop out this kind of thick, blackish fluid out of the top, where you shave off the top of its carapace on the black, and it tries to bite you back. It's at disadvantage because of the gore, and it misses completely, off balance because its legs kind of crumple over one side and misses you completely. Harm, what do you do? You're standing next to Eric Collins. You fired off your shotgun and, blew the side of the wall off over here, but missed it completely. What do you do?
Good question. Fuck it. I'm gonna try to shoot it again.
Okay. Roll shotgun and combat and military training.
Let's try. Of course. Of course.
Eric Collins,
I'm not doing a good job tonight.
you're at the door. Harm's holding you inside just a little bit. You hear these two shotguns fire once and then second fire, and you're taken off guard a little bit probably, and it gets to attack you as you're trying to scramble out the door. And it misses. The shotgun, it probably shies away from the shotgun blast or sees it, shies to one side and misses you completely. What does Eric Collins do?
It was aiming at me.
Right, you're still in the room.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to squeeze past Harm.
Yeah, I think that's okay. You squeeze past him, you step out the door, Harm's on your right, and you are right outside the doorwell, and you just pull that door closed.
Yeah. I try to squeeze past Harm and I guess shove it close and stick my thing in there.
Okay.
And I finally made it to the door.
I don't think you need to roll for that. You just pull the door closed and shove it in there. That's not really a skill. That's just you acting.
I guess I should take my what item was I shoving in there? Water filtration device, and take that and remove it.
Right.
Okay.
And
yeah.
So you're outside the room. You shove the door. Harm is next to you. You throw your water filtration device through the D handle so it's stuck and are right outside the door. Oni, you're still in the archaeologist's room, and it leaps up, flips over all of a sudden, and then all its legs go underneath it, and it just bounces. You see it just kind of sail up through the air. Its legs kind of come out like this, and you're just kind of standing there, and it tries to bite you.
Okay.
And it misses. It probably overshoots you, hits the wall, hits the roof a little bit, bounds up too far, fresh flesh. You're there just alive and warm, and it just is too exuberant and bounds up, hits the top of the roof, and then comes down and lands right in front of you. What does Oni do?
If I try to get out of the room and close the door, do I have to make a speed check, or should I shoot?
Nope. Most actions like that, I don't really have you roll to see if you fail. You could fail, but it's a simple action for you. It's a simple action for you to step out of the room and close the door.
Because I really didn't. It's a small room, so I didn't get very
right. So I sometimes don't have you roll like Eric Collins. I don't have you roll a dice to see if you could get out the door and close it. It is a risky action, and if you fail, there is consequences. But it's not that complicated. So I would have you step out and close the door.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So you step out. Eric Collins, you throw in your water filtration device. You look right. You see Oni step out and pull his door closed really fast. And I would have everyone roll a speed check. Dr. Rizal is still in combat, just to see what happens, who goes.
Speed check?
Yeah, that's for initiative.
I got a 4.
Oh, well, you go first, Dr. Rizal.
Okay, I got a 3.
Oh, you go. Well,
wow.
Okay, so this is the crazy random number generator again.
Yes.
I see it every time.
Now, Oni, are you going to do anything but hold that door closed?
Wedge something in the handle so that it can be opened.
You could use any of your equipment to wedge that close. Anything you have on you. Even take a loop of your satchel somehow and tie it during your action. Dr. Rizal, your vibrachetti is vibrating. It's making that low hum. You feel it in your hands and fingers. It's the creature in front of you is dripping ichor on the floor. What does Dr. Rizal do?
Is it still blocking my path?
Yeah, you're kind of stuck there.
Yeah. All right. I guess no way out but through you. Freaking, I swing again. I'm just like from basic training, of course, right? Combat.
So I rolled a 3. Would I be able to shut the door and try to help somebody else?
Well, I think your action is just to close it, but you could roll over there if you wanted, like if you were going to move.
If
I'd let you do it.
If I can hear like, God damn it!
Okay, I let Dr. Rizal roll his first, and then
Okay.
I'll come back to you. Okay. You just missed Dr. Rizal. Your Vibrachetti goes over the top of it. Oni, you reach the doorway. You see Dr. Rizal in combat with an alien that looks exactly like yours. What does Oni do?
Blast it with the foam gun.
Okay.
Or give it a try. And again, I'll pray to my mind Buddha, and that's not going to help, right?
No.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so this is just too bizarre, but I'll take it.
Okay. You only inflict 1 point of damage, though.
Yes, but
You get to roll blunt force if you see it at the bottom. Oh, yeah. You didn't do a wound, so you don't get to do blunt force. No,
it's supposed to do blunt force damage.
It rolls its body face. I think only if you give it a wound. You didn't give it a wound. You just did 1 point of damage. So if it drops it to a wound, then you do the wound effect. Yeah. Right.
Okay, but it's stuck in place.
Right. It has to make a body save or it becomes stuck. Right.
Yes, but at disadvantage.
Which is what it's going to do at the moment.
Yep.
I don't see it.
And when does it take the bleeding damage?
This round.
Okay.
It's its turn. I do it on its turn.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes.
So, Harm, you see Oni roll across because you also rolled a 4, I believe. Oh, Doctor, yeah. What does Harm do? You hear his foam gun goes off. You may hear Dr. Rizal say, yes.
Excellent.
Excellent shot, Mr. Oni.
Is the door closest to Eric Collins and I? Is that like obviously it's shut, but
yeah, Eric Collins has shoved something in it to keep it closed.
He did. Okay. Then I guess I'll kind of try to help Oni with the thing in the that's trapping Dr. Rizal.
Okay. So what do? You Oni lays off his foam gun. You peek inside and you see it's stuck. It slips out a little bit and then it kind of adheres to the floor, almost like it's on glue. What does Harm do as he peeks through the doorway?
Probably gonna shoot it because as much as I want to just punt it into the wall, I don't know how well that's gonna work because it has spikes and it might end up hurting me in the process.
And it's in foam, so you could get stuck too.
Yeah.
So you could actually make that shot at advantage because it's not moving. It's like stuck in one place.
Okay.
Given its critical failure.
That's a lot of dice.
Yeah, the advantage.
Yes, it is.
So, Harm, you roll around, you look inside, and and Dr. Rizal is just sitting there, and it just sees it go right in the center of it because it's stuck on the floor, and it just sprays it all over. It just has its legs there. The center part has been blown back across into the wall, and it just the legs just kind of shivers, and it is no longer there. You're out in this hallway. Eric Collins, Harm, Oni, Dr. Rizal, you're in that room. Oni probably has his Eric Collin probably still has his hands on the door just to make sure it doesn't open. What do you all do?
I think we need to get the hell out of here because we've made a hell of a lot of noise.
Yes, I agree. Let's get to the upper deck as quickly as possible.
Okay. The stairwell is here around the corner. So you guys just beat feet and run to
Or do we go up? Do we go through
Yep.
the vent?
Oh,
You
well.
can go up through the vent, but I don't think we have to climb up, so not everyone can go. Or I guess one can pull the other one up.
But if the stairwell's blocked, we can take the vent. But I think if the stairwell's open and available, I'd rather take that.
So you round the corner, Eric Collins, and you open the door and peek in, and you see a stairwell leading down and a stairwell leading up. You don't hear anything. You hear the doors that you just left, but you don't hear anything open or hear any scrabbling behind you as you're running down the hallway. The stairwells seem to be clear, Eric. Do you just take them?
I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
Yep.
Everyone follow Eric Collins up the stairs as quickly as possible.
Yep.
I will take the tail, and I've got my foam gun sort of backing away, following everyone, but I've got the foam gun ready.
Laying down foam as you're
No,
backing up.
that's why I don't have that much foam.
Okay.
But I do reload so that I've got, right? I've shot twice, so
Right. Okay.
3 times.
So Eric Collins, the stairwell kind of ends right here in the upper deck section. On either side in the schematics is just life support habitation at the very top, and that through the left corridor there leads to the control center. Right here is navigation computer. There's an airlock to your left, and then you figure a short hallway to the pilot house, a little bit more detailed than the pilot house on the Gambit, but you find yourself there. The airlock is closed, but it's not welded shut like the other ones. You see a door here that probably leads to life support, and also here and the navigational computers there, like a kind of C-shaped computer mainframe that you walk into that's, as tall as you are, like 6 feet, 5 feet, so ever so many meters. As you reach the top, Eric, what do you do?
I'm just gonna immediately start searching, see if I can find any, I guess, either weapons readouts or artifacts in the C-shaped station.
Okay.
And if not, then I'm going to try to move on to the pilot quarters.
You dip into the navigational computers and has this big kind of liquid crystal or crystal display or whatever display they would have in that age. And at the top, you just see empty and a blinking cursor. Boop, 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 boop. And that Eric Collins, that the navigational array has no coordinates in it, and it's has nothing in it. The navigational array and computer is completely blanked. You just kind of have that /: prompt, old days, and it's completely just sitting there.
What if I enter coordinates and just send the ship off? And then it's not our problem anymore.
You could try.
I think I want to try that. I haven't consulted with anybody, but we don't have much time. I just gotta get out of here.
So you want to try to enter navigation coordinates
somewhere? I don't care where.
Have we all come down into that level now?
I think you all rise up into that level. You all are right next to each other, coming up the gangway, the stairs. You go through a small door that leads into the second thing. Eric Collins dips into the C navigational computer array, and you see him looking at the screen. You see a airlock here, and then 2 doors on either side. The airlock goes to the control room. There's a keypad and a swipe, and you're almost certain, at least per Mr. Tim's guidance, that that's life support on either side of there, up on the control room. Most important place, there's a couple different life support areas, but the top level life supports are the ones that are the most important. You reach the top, and probably about this time you hear this, Mr. Tim online. What have I missed? I didn't fall asleep on watch. I swear, something happened again. All the systems are down. We got 5% life support. Engines are shot. No gravity. Oxygen at 15%.
You gotta get this thing out of here. I type in whatever coordinates I can.
Make a intellect, probably with industrial equipment, at disadvantage.
Can one of us provide assistance and change that?
Does anyone have ship knowledge or a technical skill?
Just basic military training.
No.
I've got theology. I can pray.
There's no God in the machine. There's no God in the machine, right?
Not this machine. Let's see.
That's the wrong setting.
Oh,
Yes.
even with disadvantage.
Yeah.
That is a crazy roll there. I wonder if it tells me. Oh, yeah, you rolled. What's crazy, though, is that you rolled a disadvantage and you rolled one critical success. But because you take the worst number, which is a 26, right? If you wouldn't have rolled a disadvantage and you rolled 11, it would be a critical failure because you're doomed.
Yes,
Right.
my doomed. I know I'm doomed still.
So,
Oh wow.
right.
What? That's nuts.
That's crazy. So Eric Collins, you just hear him on the keyboard. Like he pulls out this little keyboard. What are you saying, Eric Collins? Because it's going to take you a little bit of while to code this.
Yeah, I say, guys, I've got an idea. We don't need to find what's doing this if we just make it not our problem anymore. The engines are functional based on what I'm reading, because I don't think Eric Collins would proceed if it seemed like nothing's working.
Right. You probably from the terminal, the jump drive is broke, but positioning engines or impulse record, engines that when you're around planetary sources, it would take you 3 or 4 lifetimes to use them to get somewhere. But jump drive is broken. But you're typing away, and you think you could maybe get the engines to fire off.
To get away from this.
Yeah, question. We would know before we went over to the ship. Are we within a system, or are we just in dead space?
You couldn't tell because everything was down, and you were butt up against the. You had no idea because you emergency exited hyperspace, and then the ship was being drained, and you got on the shuttle and came over. So you didn't really have navigational computer, so you had no idea where you were.
But we were on a shuttle. Could we see if there's a star?
Oh, there's a star.
Send the ship towards the star.
If I can, I will.
Yeah,
because this is dangerous.
I think the best you're gonna do, Eric Collins, is just engage drive. Like, give it a time frame to initiate thrust and have the ship move.
Okay.
And hope to God that you can get the Gambit to do something.
Get away from this ship at the very least.
We got to get off of this ship. Yeah.
As he's furiously typing away, because this is going to take Eric Collins a little while. It's not a fast thing to recode the whole navigational computers. What is everyone else doing?
Let's see.
Is there another terminal in this room?
No, there's really not much else in this room besides the C navigational center and the pilot house.
And Mr. Collins is using that.
Yeah, in the control pilot house, there'd be everything.
I'll take my swipe badge and I'll swipe.
Okay. You open the airlock. You look down this long hall and you see another airlock, which is not uncommon. The pilot house would have a double airlock, so if the whole ship decompresses, the captain and the first mate and whoever's lucky enough to be on duty during the pilot house would be alive. Everyone else would die. But as Eric Collins is typing away, what do you all do as Oni opens this door?
I'll let them. Yes.
I think Dr. Rizal would probably try to preserve some of that matter that he got on his vibroblade.
You're like squeaking it
Yeah.
off.
Yeah. They take out the sample collection kit. Like he's of a very one-track mind.
Oh, yeah, you do have a sample collection kit. That is true.
Yeah, I have one as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like in the corner, like swiping your blade along the edge of the sample
Yeah.
collection.
Need to preserve the samples.
Harm, you're probably next to Oni as he pops open the airlock door. Eric Collins is typing away furiously. Dr. Rizal is doing Dr. Rizal thing. You know, they're both sketchy. I don't know which one is worse. Someone throwing a kidney at you, or Dr. Rizal taking goo off his vibrochette. What does Harm do?
He'll probably just like go with me just to.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't know if I don't know if the context of the organ situation has actually been revealed. I had found some
Cyanide tablets.
cyanide tablets.
I told her.
Oh, okay. Okay, before I even pass through the door, I'm looking over here at this vent. Is it disturbed?
No, it's a floor vent. Looks like it's completely flat. You don't really see anything, but you see like paper spread out on the floor
Of the hallway.
of the hallway, like charcoal drawings.
How many pieces of paper?
Many. A ream.
And just
125.
So nothing archaeological, nothing that would indicate.
Yeah, you look down at your feet, and you realize they look like all the drawings up on the archaeological room, and you look down at one of them, and they're all the same thing. There's this triangular mass of something made of faces and arms and eyes and bodies and mouths, and they're just scribbled on there. Some of them are in charcoal. Some of them look like smeared red substance, which you hope isn't blood. And they all kind of depict this icon, really. And they're just scattered on the floor in any bits of paper. And you see these little votives, or little things that have been made out of clothing and stitchery and gum, and like they're building little pieces of it, little icons that's put in their pocket and carry around, like they've made it out of many different substances, candy corn, you name it, like it's all stuck in there.
It's got to be good for something, right?
So as you're standing there, yeah, because you can shape that stuff. Oni and Harm, what do you do? Like,
I would like to roll theology to see whether I have some kind of insight into what this creature might be.
Okay.
I mean, because that's pretty freaky. I'm actually taking a screenshot of that.
Candy.
So roll theology and
Candy.
you probably roll intellect with theology.
Yes. So
as he's looking at this piece of paper, and you look down the hallway, you see the airlock to the control room. You just wait with Oni. Are you guys planning to go down and check out the control room as Eric Collins is typing away furiously?
I'm probably gonna go up a little bit first.
Okay. You go up part way and walk through the hallway, and the papers move around your feet. All right, loser. We lost her a bit. And so, Oni, as you hear me, right? Okay, Oni, you look at this thing and you realize it's depicting some sort of alien effigy, and you realize just the structure of it's some sort of gate, some sort of gateway, and wherever these creatures are that you've seen in the hallways, whatever that scream was from, that gateway is letting them out in a particular periodicity. Every so many minutes it opens and closes and opens and closes, and every time it opens it sends out this pulse wave that knocks out, and it's pulling all the energy from the bishop's gambit. And whatever that screech was you heard that happened however many minutes ago probably exited that gateway, and the creatures that you've seen, the ones that you just battled, and those multi-legged hounds are exiting from that gateway onto the ship every 42 minutes. Are exit. You're muted.
You're muted.
Our exit.
We're coming up on 42 minutes.
Our exit. Maybe.
Let's get the hell out of here, guys. I try to give them the précis, the condensed version of what I've just discovered.
Our exit.
You found the artifact.
Yes. Well, I understand what's happening. Yeah. Basically, I found the artifact.
While I'm typing, I'm like, yes, I'm working as fast as I can. We don't know where the monsters are coming out, though, right? This portal thing you're talking about.
Do I have any insight where the portal is coming out?
You don't know where it leads to. It just
no, where it is on the ship.
Oh no. You know that it's probably fairly big, and there's only a few places it could go.
Cargo. Yeah, the cargo.
Oh, great. Good thing it's welded shut.
Ah, yes.
Right. You figured the way it's drawn, maybe some of the drawings has little people around it that are genuflecting, that it's probably 9-10 feet tall, 3 meters tall. It's hard to tell because
God. This thing is in there. Oh my God! I'm going to grab a couple of these just because it needs to be documented. So
okay.
I'll grab a couple of them. And Mr. Collins, we must leave. We must get onto the shuttle.
If you guys want to make your way down to the airlock, this is going to take me a few. I don't know how much longer, but I'm working on it.
Eric Collins, roll percentile dice.
What would that be like?
The far right on the bottom, D100.
D100. All right.
So while that, okay, yeah.
60%
done. Harm, you're halfway down. You're kind of looking down at the vents. Oni is picking up these things and then starts rattling off like he knows what's going on. And you hear voices in the pilot house through this slightly opened airlock door. You can't really hear what they're saying. Seems to be arguing for some reason.
Can I just ask Oni what the hell he's going on about?
There's an alien entity that's opening up some kind of portal on the ship, and letting these creatures. That is allowing these creatures to pass here, and when the portal opens, it's drawing energy from our ship. We need to get off this ship and let Mr. Collins throw this ship into the sun of the star of this system.
Kind of nod and be like, okay. Okay, let's tell Eric Collins about this. Like, just be like, do it as quickly as you can, while also making sure that it can actually get destroyed, please.
Get our weapons ready. Yes. Just what I said to Mr. Collins.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Doctor as well, Dr. Rizzo.
Dr. Rizzo, you like finish collecting your samples. Eric Collins is typing furiously away. Oni's picking up some papers and is talking about this gateway and this effigy and this icon, and Harm is halfway down this passageway leading to the pilot house. Do you do anything else?
When Eric Collins volunteers that we can go ahead and make our way towards the ship, or towards the shuttle, Dr. Rizal would be like, "Yeah, I think that's about right. I'm just about out of vial samples. Shall we go?"
Dr. Rizzo, I have a sample collection kit as well. You may use it.
Yes.
Woo!
Okay, so Eric Collins, you're typing away. You're halfway to finish, and the screen wavers and shuts down. Lights go out everywhere, and everything shuts down. The low 60 hertz hum of the airflow stops, and it takes about a few minutes, and then the screen pops up, and you see your cursor blinking. Blink, blink. What do you do, Eric?
Is the progress I made still there?
Let's see. We're gonna leave it up to fate.
All right.
Did it wipe?
Did he not get success?
This is for like
No,
everything shut down.
I
reset.
rolled a D100 actually, and I rolled underneath him. That's why he didn't finish in time. That's why I decided.
Shit.
He rolled a 63 and I rolled a 34. That's what my roll was for, to see if he finished. Just leave it up to chance. No. Oh. Can you all see those?
Yes.
Oh, right. Great. Eric Collins, you're like looking there hopeful, and then you just see all your code go down to your last line, and you realize it didn't wipe. It's still going. And then at the same time, the airlock hatch opens. I mean, not the airlock hatch. The airlock to the control room is already partially open. Harm, you just see it flow open, like something pushes it in from the inside, and it opens up. And then you see this android start crawling out, dragging itself. It doesn't have the lower half of its body, like it's trailing part of its titanium spine, doesn't have its legs and body, and it starts crawling out, and then it looks up at you. What the hell? What this?
Speaking of Android, where's Max? We gotta go get him before we leave.
Who are
You're
you?
muted. You're muted.
Thank you.
I wasn't saying anything. I was just scratching.
Not the first time and not the last time. Harm will probably just be like, "Who the hell are you?"
I'm the ship's android pander. Kronot's in there trying to recover the files. It's hard for him to do with one arm, but they're all corrupted from the thing in the hold. You got to destroy it. He starts crawling towards you. Take me with you.
I'll just kind of like pick him up by the back of his shirt and just kind of walk towards the hold with him.
He like throws his arms over you like piggyback, but he's just underneath you, dripping his fluids all over. He goes, "We gotta go quick. It just opened. That thing is out there."
I'll
That's good
go
enough for
towards
me.
the hold and just be like, just in my head, just being like, "This is not the weirdest thing that's been happening to me in the past like 2 weeks." Like,
Eric Collins, you fiercely type and you hit the return button, chunk, and you see it go, and a countdown. Boop. How long did you set it for?
It shouldn't take more than 5 minutes.
Let's
Oh,
do
God,
it.
5 minutes.
Let's do it.
So the engines are gonna power thrust in 5 minutes. Got it.
and we've got 20 minutes to get out of here.
he like
20 minutes to do it. 5 minutes.
Prander looks over at you and says, "What? We gotta run."
Yeah.
I turned to the android. Did I hear you say something about destroying the ship? Who's in the command center?
He goes, "Kranot's in the command center. The other ship's AI, the tech specialist."
Are they an organic being?
They're androids.
2 androids. Okay.
Yeah.
Androids.
I figure all the organic beings would be dead.
Good point.
Can you tell them to self-destruct? Does the ship have a self-destruct?
We've been trying everything, but we couldn't get out.
Well, it's not our problem anymore. I just sent the ship on a course away from our ship at the very least. Maybe we can, what is it called? Put out a distress signal that this ship needs to be wrecked ASAP. But our ship is also getting drained just as much as this ship, if not worse. So you either coming or staying.
He's like clutching onto arm. He goes, "Run, whatever your name is."
All right. And I'm gonna try to get back down to the spider.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Quick question. Quick
Go ahead.
question though. I'm in the hallway, so picking up notes, and I've just literally just grabbed a few. You're saying that the other android is in the front.
yeah, he was trying to download and fix the files, but they're all corrupted, and is having a hard time because he only has one arm.
I'm feeling very Darwinian at the moment, and survival of me. So not going to worry about the thing, and trying. I'm just going to try to say get the crew to go out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone's gonna run. Sounds like it.
Oh yes.
Yep.
All right.
I don't know how we're gonna pick up Max on the way out, though.
I'm pretty strong. Oni's pretty strong.
Okay.
So who's in front?
I guess you should ask that first.
Somebody with a vibro weapon and a shotgun, maybe.
The Marine Harm has Prander, the android, wrapped around his neck, and you all
Yeah, I guess-
go to the stairwell.
I guess it only makes sense that Dr. Rizal is in the front because he said that he was gonna start headed back towards the ship.
Okay. Dr. Rizal, you get partway down the stairwell and make a intellect check.
Any skills? Just flat.
Military training is probably the only one that would work. Ooh.
What? Oh, because it's 5-5.
5 and above my skill.
I see you running down the stairwell, Dr. Rizal, and maybe you look back up the stairwell to make sure that the rest of the crew is coming. You see Harm with the android Prander draped around his neck, and behind him is Oni, and Eric Collins is in the rear, having just finished his coding. And then you exit the stairwell on the second level, and that's when you see it. It's giant. It fills the stairwell itself from the floor to the ceiling. It has these huge long arms and this oversized head with these other tentacles around and these huge eyes without eyelids. And it just puts one giant arm around the corner and turns left towards you. I will show you what it looks like.
Oh, great.
Nice.
And I'm going to put it on the map. It takes up a lot of space. I think the only one who counts at this moment is Dr. Rizal. Everyone else is backed up in the stairwell. Dr. Rizal, roll a speed check.
Would military training count? No. It's flat feed. Just flat?
Yeah. Just speed. Ooh, you just barely get it. Dr. Rizal, you pop up, you look at it. I don't know what you're thinking at the moment, but its mouth opens. You feel like you're almost going to lift up off the ground, but you haven't yet. What do you do?
I turn around. Not this way. Not this way.
So you run up the stairs. You
Yeah.
start backing up.
Yeah.
All right. The Alpha Gaunt emits this horrific scream. It's the same thing you heard down in the bottom, but it's so much closer that it just fills the space like a torrent coming up the stairs as Dr. Rizal turns around and says, "Not this way, not this way." And everyone make a fear save. If you fail, you take 1d5 stress.
Oh, question.
Another
Now
critical.
that I know the theology
Wow.
behind this, can I use theology at least on this save?
No.
Oh, come on, man.
Two critical failures.
Yeah, those two
Oh,
criticals
nice.
have to make a panic roll. So Eric Collins and Dr. Rizal, you have to make a panic roll.
It's not good because my stress is already 20.
Panic checks normal.
Yes.
All right. Oh.
Okay. Oh, that's not a bad roll, though.
Interesting.
Oh, but yeah, for some reason it says Dela Cruz for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh yeah.
But you rolled a 1, so you get an adrenaline rush. You get advantage for probably the rest of this, 2d10 minutes.
That's a lot of adrenaline.
You reduce stress by 1d5, so you actually improve your stress. Like, you hear this scream come falling over your shoulder, Dr. Rizal, and again, like in the bottom, you keep it all together. Why is that?
I think he logically thinks through that panicking is probably not in his best interest to survival and the pursuit of the continuance of his work. So he did the most logical thing, which is to turn around and go the other way.
Okay.
He doesn't really panic as he's like when he's telling us like, not this way, not this way. He's turn around.
Right.
Wrong
It's
way.
all like, let's go.
You don't gotta go that way. Let's go.
Load up. It's all
It was
matter
very,
of fact.
yeah, very matter of fact.
Eric Collins,
Yes.
you see this vision. It has nothing to do with this moment. You were Jessica Elizabeth, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were Jessica Elizabeth again, and you're staring at your mother, Captain Alexandria, and she's shaking you, saying, "Don't trust the AI. Don't trust the AI." And you have this vision of your being shaken back and forth as Jessica Elizabeth, don't trust the AI, and it fades, and you realize you're stuck on the ship. Dr. Rizal is saying, turn around, and you're kind of shaking your head because you were Jessica Elizabeth for just a moment, and you had this prophetic vision of the past. What do you do as it comes clomping up the steps? You hear it like it has these long Sith-like arms, probably what tried to get into medbay and slice down the metal. You can hear the whole hull creak as it puts its arms. You probably see it put its arms as you're trying to scramble up the stairwell up into the control room. What do you do as you scramble back up to the top?
I start yelling for everyone to get to the vents. I think based on the schematic, if we get to the vents, we'll at least be behind the thing.
Okay.
Or even if we get into the vents, we can crawl all the way to the airlock, maybe. So yeah, I want to help everybody get to the vents as quick as possible.
All right, Eric Collins, you rip open the vent and are going to lead them through the vents.
Yep.
In less than 4 minutes.
I think based on the math, it took us 5 minutes to get to the second. So it's going to take at least 10 minutes to get all the way down. So we're gonna be.
Okay. Is it gonna? Did you set it to slowly cruise away or like jump into light speed or what?
It's only it's only the onboard. It's not the jump. So the jump drive isn't functioning. So we have time to fly back to our ship on the Spider.
Yeah.
But let's not get too far.
All right. So
Oni is the closest one to the vent.
True.
Oh yeah, get in.
Well, Eric Collins was in the back as you're coming down the stairwell. It was Dr. Rizal, Harm, Oni. Eric Collins was last. That's why when you back up.
No. I said I was last because I had the foam gun.
You're going to go as fast as possible through the vent. What I'm going to do is decide on a single roll if you make it out.
Well, just hang on. Is there any way to seal the door into this level?
You have 5 minutes to get to the bottom. It doesn't matter.
Can I not use the foam around
the door? You can. But in the sake of getting out as fast as possible, you could use the foam to see if you delay it coming up.
Yeah, exactly. That's my idea. Yeah.
You could use the foam. So you stay at the top of the stairs, start laying foam down.
Well, I never really wanted to get up this near the stairs. Okay. I'm just going to the base of the stairs, fill up the area as much, 3 shots because that's what I got in the clip or whatever.
Okay.
And then close the door behind me and let everyone get ahead of me.
Okay.
Because my idea is always to be behind and I can lay a trail of foam behind to slow anything down.
So Eric Collins is going to make a roll, and he's going to be crawling through the vents as fast as possible with the company behind him. Is there any way the other characters think they can help him out? Or how would you, Dr. Rizal, Eric Collins is how would you help him get through that conduit as fast as possible?
I would hand him I could hand him my vibro knife.
Would that be able to easily make its way through the vent? How big is it?
A vibrochetti like a saber.
Yeah, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to. It's not gonna help me, I guess, unless
just kind of push it ahead of you. You skitter it ahead, and then you crawl, and then you push it ahead.
Eric Collins is probably gonna like not accept the vibrochetti. Just for the sake of not having anything in his way while he's trying to crawl ahead as quickly as possible.
Harm, is there anything you could do to help Eric Collins as he's trying to make it through as fast as possible?
I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure I still can't use my athletics. So Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think there is anything that I can do.
So Eric Collins goes low crawling through the thing. Dr. Rizal is behind him, and Harm is coming behind him, and Oni lays down foam and crawls in last. And Oni, is there anything you can do as the line slows down? We lost him. Did we lose you?
Oh, he's there.
Wow, he was still.
Is there anything, Oni, that you could perhaps do to help Eric Collins through the tunnel fast?
I'm at the tail end of the thing, so
You can jab him with a stim pack.
But what skills do you have? What skills do you have, Oni?
Mr. Collins, I will tell you the litany of fear that I know. Let fear wash over and pass through you. And when you
This
turn
close to having a heart attack, I'll take it.
Roll theology.
Okay. Skills, right.
What does this do?
He's giving a
calming
pep
me
talk.
down.
He's giving a pep talk. Oh, baby, you just took too long. So, Eric Collins, you hear Oni's voice behind you droning on about something. You're trying to make it through as fast as possible. You know, shit, I said it for 5 minutes. Maybe I should have picked faster. Roll. I think it's a speed check plus 0G. Like you're in tight space, but you got body mechanics.
Yes.
You get no help from your friends, so you don't get advantage. That's what I was looking for. Like, see if you get out. Oh,
Oh, nice.
All right. So that's what I see at the end of the session. Eric Collard is just low crawling through the conduit. He drops down into the floor and probably just grabs the edge and pulls himself and the edge and lands flat. And then he dips back down into the other one, just one right after another, and just keeps crawling over. You get to the airlock where the spider drone is and detach. And the spider drone's probably just barely past it when the Alexis's engines fire off. It doesn't move right away because it's a huge sip. And you rotate the drone, the spider shuttle away, so the viewport, and you see the Gambit. The Gambit just kind of fishtails a little bit as it's pushed aside and just starts to rotate a little bit because its engines isn't working, and the Alexis goes into space. You kind of rotate a little bit, and you just see it going in the distance. It's sort of pointed at a star, but it's not like Eric Collins could just give it coordinates because he had no idea. He just turned on the engines, and it just starts moving. And we're end the session there.
We survived another one.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as it's sort of going towards a star, the gravity will suck it in. So
Eventually, hopefully, before
Eventually
it
it'll
finds
hit a
another
star.
ship. Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
If it finds it, it's not our problem anymore. Our ship is safe.
You have an extra android.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask about
He's on-
that. Actually. We still had it.
Wait.
Yeah,
We
I was
didn't
gonna
get
say,
Max.
do we have an extra android?
No, we have the same amount we left with.
I said I was going to pick up Max.
Yeah,
Okay.
you go back to look for Max, and Max isn't there. Max
Okay.
Max had crawled himself into the shuttle drone, and you just find him in the back, like crumpled in the back, because he's been double fried. Because by the time you get back, the EMP had just went off again, so he's in the back, kind of like still out of it. He hasn't regained consciousness, and the Gambit hadn't regained power at all because it had already been hit. So that's why it's like twisted a little bit and in space.
When Dr. Rizal gets on the shuttle, he's like to Max, no, don't get up.
Don't let us bother you.
And he chuckles to himself. That one gets me every time.
hopefully you had fun. I never can tell what a group's gonna do. Obviously, I have no idea. Eric comes up with this good idea, and so I say, "Well, let's see if it can work." And despite the poor rolling
Oh,
We started
earlier,
rolling successes
this
over and over.
this one was like pink, 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 and then the panic rolls at the end could have really hosed you, but you didn't get terrible panic rolls.
somebody
and
improved, like you said, adrenaline went up.
right, someone improved. Sometimes I will ask you that it's kind of an assist to get to people, like how do you help this person, is more you kind of figuring out. I was hoping you bring the theology because you were asking before. I was like, no, that's not going to work. No, but
No. I even have it written down. I've got the litany of fear.
right.
So no question though. You had me roll. Should that not have been an assist for Eric Collins?
Right. I was having you roll your theology because if you succeed, then you provide that litany. You're providing that support. So you have to succeed at your support for him to get advantage, not him receive it. And so you have to succeed at your theology. For whatever reason, you didn't. Like maybe it was the moment, maybe they couldn't hear you, maybe you got the litany wrong, or you were babbling a little bit because you're trying to get the hell out of there. And so that
too much noise. Too much noise.
Too much noise.
I'm gonna get out of here. I've got
all right, see you.
some campaign prep I need to do because I'm running a session of Knave in like an hour.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yes, I hope
All
it
right,
goes well.
see you.
Have a good one.
Good
Hope
game.
you all had
good
fun.
Game. GG.
I had fun. I never can tell what you're gonna do. Dr. Rizal was hilarious. Harm and Oni, you guys were hilarious. And then that roll at the end where I ask Fate what happens, and it throws up those other things that you saw was chance, encounter, death, and something else. I know what's in the control room, but when I get waste and death and unexpected random event, that's when I had the android crawl out. Because I didn't have that planned. That was just a moment thing, but I had a lot of fun with the session. It started a little bit slow, but I think we kind of eased into it, and then it was really fun as it started going.
I think the pace went fine. Like you said, it just kind of just sailed up.
Yeah, got a lot of chance to role play and get into the situation.